In Group C, you see today's game day. All 8 teams in, matching up against each other, with the one here, CEZ Nymburk and Dijon, tipping off first. It features the 2 teams at the bottom of Group C at the moment. Nymburk at 2-5, Dijon 1-6, and that one win coming actually on game day 1 against this very Nymburk team. Dijon suffering a 6-game losing streak in the Basketball Champions League since that opening day. So they'll look to right the ship here. As you take a look at the standings, you see these 2 teams at the bottom with 8 and 9 points. Meanwhile, at the top, Jerusalem and Ike will be battling out today as well for the supremacy in this group. Meanwhile, if Nymburk wants to qualify for the playoffs, they'll have to go at least 5-2 in these next 7 games. Meanwhile, this French team, featuring a lot of talent, a lot of explosive players, just haven't been able to put together a win here in European play, despite currently being in 2nd place in France, so doing great domestically, just unable to duplicate that success in the Basketball Champions League. And you see the lineup featuring a lot of the returning players, but a few missing. But Axel Julien coming off a great 2-game performance with France as the backup point guard on that team. France winning their 2 games in the Basketball Champions League. One of those games coming against Wojciech Herban, warming up there, and the Czech Republic. And of course, if you're a fan of the Czech Republic or of Nymburk, you'll see a lot of overlap between those 2 teams, as Nymburk features 6 players actually from the Czech national team, including their leading scorer, Wojciech Herban, who at number 77, again, is been leading this team in scoring and a number of other departments, and he'll be counted on here tonight. Once again, him alongside Jaromir Boacic, number 17, the 6'7" guard forward, does a little bit of everything as well alongside Herban, and those 2 guys will be the catalyst for any success Nymburk will be able to have here tonight and the rest of the season, to be honest. This is a Nymburk team that really dominates their domestic Czech league. They've been dominating for 15+ years now, and currently, well, they were undefeated going into the last couple of weeks in the domestic league. Meanwhile, again, overall, they're 2-5 here in Europe. But we're going to have the player introductions for both teams.
JDA Dijon. Number 4, Louis Weber. Number 9, Jeremy Lalo. Number 11, David Holston. Number 15, Olivier Regano. Number 20, Gavin Webb. Number 21, Edelo Lo. Number 22, Alexander Chassar. Number 24, Ryan Pearson. Number 33, Terence Kinsey. Number 83, Axel Julio. The coach is Lauren Playground and assistant Frederick Dustrand Rhodes.
So that's Dijon. Now we'll get the introductions for the host team, CEZ Nymburk. You might have seen a couple of new names and faces there for CEZ Nymburk, although the head coach, Orion, still the same, or on Emil Char, should I say. Meanwhile, the coach for Dijon is Laurent Leniam, 41-year-old. But Glenn Cozy getting his first action of the Basketball Champions League. And you see there David Holston and Gino Lawrence getting introduced, reacquainting themselves at half court. David Holston, who might just be 5'8", but plays like he's 6'8", really attacks the basket, averaging close to 10 points per game, also 4 assists. Meanwhile, you see there Gavin Ware, he is Dijon's leading scorer at 13.7 points per game on 62% shooting. So the big man inside, 6'9", we really counted on to provide an inside presence for this Dijon team. Meanwhile, Glenn Cozy will be another point guard. We're also going to see potentially Alex Davis and Mike Myers, two guys who didn't feature in the first matchup between these two teams. So a couple new faces for CEZ Nymburk that didn't play in that first matchup. Again, that was a game that Dijon won 74-63. In that game, David Holston led the way with 16 points, 5 assists on 3 of 8 shooting from 3. Alexandre Chasson, number 22, had probably his biggest game, 14 points, 8 rebounds for Dijon. And then the other player in double figures was Axel Julien, 12 points. Meanwhile, the referees for today, you see the Italian Tolga Sahin, from Sweden Apostolos Kalpakas, and from Greece Vasiliki Sashura.
The referees of this game are Tolga Sahin from Italy.
But yeah, again, meanwhile for CEZ Nymburk in that first matchup, Martin Peterka, 15 points, but it was all about Wojciech Herban, who had 22 points, knocked down 6 3-pointers, 5 rebounds, 3 steals. As we take a look at the starting 5 for Dijon, Axel Julien, Obi Nagano, Jeremy Leloup, Ryan Pearson, and Gavin Ware. But back to Herban, it was really the first game where he started the season off extremely hot, was the second leading scorer through the first 5 or 6 weeks of the season, 20+ points per game. He's cooled off a little bit, as you see Laurent Lenyem. Herban's cooled off a little bit. He's down now to about 16.7 points per game. So not at the same 22-point mark that he was kind of the first midway point of the season, but at the second midway point here, looking to turn things back around. He did roll his ankle in that game against France for the Czech Republic, but he seems okay to go. And he'll be in the starting lineup alongside Jaromir Boacek, Gino Lawrence are in the point, and then Alex Davis and Peter Benda inside. Benda, a little bit older, veteran player. He's been around for a while, he's 36 years old now, struggling from the field in the Champions League, just 30% shooting for the big man. Meanwhile, Alex Davis, this will be his 4th game in the Champions League, about 8 points per game. So, see there, Oren Amiel giving some last-second instructions to his players. Meanwhile, the fans here in Nymburk at the CEZ Sportovní hala in the Czech Republic will continue to fill out the seats. Again, it's game day 8 of the Basketball Champions League. And with 4 groups, 8 teams each, you got to finish in the top 4 in order to advance to the playoffs. And obviously these two teams right now, 7th and 8th in the group. So they'll be looking to find their winning ways, the same way they've been able to win in the domestic league, get a chance to replicate that success here in the European play. David Holston coming off the bench, looks like here in today's game. Meanwhile, Jaromir Boacek, who also looking to find his shooting touch, shooting under 40% at the moment from the field. Wojciech Herban, who besides being able to knock down the open 3, has also had a number of highlight plays, a couple alley-oops, some breakaways, some posters. So Herban has really established himself as not necessarily a rising star at 29 years of age, but a very, very good European player for both his national team and his club team. Again, Gavin Ware leads his team in scoring and rebounding. And we're just about to be underway here in Nymburk, and it's Dijon saving the ball Herban deflecting it. So Dijon in blue, the home side, CEZ Nymburk in white. And finally, the first possession will be underway. It's CEZ Julien here at the point with Ryan Pearson. Ball goes to the corner, and Jérémy Leloup steps out of bounds. So an early turnover for Dijon. A little spatial, lack of spatial awareness, I should say. While Gino Lawrence with CEZ Julien guarding him. Some good action here from Nymburk. The handoff to Herban. Looking to go one-on-one, pulls up on Leloup for three, short. And the long rebound sails out of bounds over to Dijon. So neither team able to score on their first possession. Herban settling for the long three. And Magano helping Julien bring the ball up. Dijon looking to get organized. Skip pass to Pearson. Fakes the pass, takes the three, in and out. So unlucky there for Ryan Pearson. Meanwhile, oh, the nice tap away from Julien. Gino Lawrence looking for the pick. Finds a roll man, Benda. Decides to pull it back out. Oh, nice crossover dribble. Lawrence gets all the way to the basket for the first 2 points of the night. And Gino Lawrence, another veteran point guard, able to get Nymburk on the board. Magano looking for the screen from Ware. Ball goes inside to Pearson. A little bit of footwork, lefty hook. Follows his own shot, keeps the ball alive and hustles for the offensive rebound. Trips. Finds a teammate. Here's Leloup driving now. And he lays it in. Tough finish from Leloup. Herban right there to contest. Herban actually a pretty good shot blocker amidst all his offensive qualities. Meanwhile, Lawrence looking for the backdoor pass. Can't connect with Davis. And it's a turnover back over to Dijon. You see there the Big Apple New York City tattoo for Lawrence as he gets the first little righty scoop layup. Meanwhile, Leloup counters on the other end. Tie it up. So Julien going around, finding Ware. A nice backdoor cut. Magano with the left hand finishes. Good teamwork on that side of the floor from Dijon. 4-2 here after the first couple minutes. Meanwhile, nice in and out dribble. Herban spot up corner three, knocks it down. The driving kick, Lawrence to Herban. This crowd has seen it many times. And seems to have woken up the crowd as well. Julien gets the switch. They rotate the ball over. Leloup has room. Oh, knocks down a three-pointer himself, right in Herban's face. And now both teams starting to heat up here as they get their rhythm. Here's Benda, pick and pop. Shot is good for two. And all of a sudden, both teams now starting to light it up. 7 up. Leloup looking to turn the corner, goes right at Herban. Good defense that time to force into a tough shot. Nymburk looking to run. Oh, trailer Benda. They move the ball around. Gino Lawrence, top of the key, short on the three. And Julien will outlet the ball over to Magano. He takes a transition mid-range. Probably not the best shot. No offensive rebounders in the picture. Herban draws the first foul of the game. So the game starting to pick up here in terms of going up and down. As you see here, the three-pointer from Leloup. Herban just short on the closeout. And the foul on the reach there. I think they're going to call the first one on Ware. Here's Boacek, his first touch. Almost 4 minutes into the game. Looking to go with Gavin Ware. Nice crossover, gets inside. What a move, Jaromir Boacik for his first layup and 2 points of the night. Able to isolate against the big man, got the switch. Here comes Dijon. Pearson goes right back at Boacik, pulls his dribble back out. Shot clock just around the 5-second mark, and Magano, and they're going to give him 2 shots, so he would have made it. Could have got an and one, but first foul over on Nymburk as Emagano gets into the lane. Meanwhile, look at this Boacik. Crosses over and then splits that double team just in time as Benda couldn't quite stay in front of Emagano. Emagano connects on the first free throw. Short on the second. So Dijon still find themselves up down one. Oh, nice play to get Davis the ball on the block. Kicks it back out. Herbot another 3. This time no good. And Ware flies in for the rebound. Julian calls out the play. Big man cross. High up screen. And Magano, baseline pull up. Nice shot from Magano. Elevates over the defense. Then comes back on the other end and commits a foul. So Magano getting the job done offensively. Benda spots up on the baseline. He's 2 for 2, and that's got to feel good for Benda. He's really been struggling from the field in the first 7 games, and he's 2 for 2 here tonight. Pearson finds Julien. Pulls back. A little bit of separation, still a tough shot. Good defense there from Davis. And Ware's gonna get caught for his second foul as he wanted to battle for the offensive rebound. Seemed to get away with the first contact there. He kind of kept his hand in the arm. I'm not sure what he's arguing for there. So 2 fouls now on Gavin Ware. And Dijon has to go to their bench to replace their star big man. Gavin Ware played his basketball at Mississippi State. Meanwhile, Davis, ball deflected out of bounds by Leloup. And also Mike Myers, number 24, in the game for the first time for CEZ Nymburk. Myers, one of those new faces that Dijon didn't have to contend with last time. Bracy Wright as well. That's Bracy Wright, number 5 there with the ball. Looking for a shot. Risey comes in, shot clock about to expire. Davis gets it off in time to count it. Banks it in. Very tough shot. And on the other end, 2-pointer knockdown. And that was Alex Chasson as Boacik gets fouled on the spin move. So a couple new guys. And also there's Kinsey, Terrence Kinsey, number 33 for Dijon, seeing his first action. David Holston also checking in, so a number of new faces on the court here in the second part of the first quarter. Dijon already with 14 fouls now. And Boacik with a quick 3, airballs it, hustle from Lawrence, Saves it over to Emigano. Holston looking to push. Pearson, top of the key, 3, too strong. Boacek a rebound. And Boacek now pulls into a 3 in transition himself. Also hits the back iron. So neither team able to convert on the transition 3s. We'll see how long it takes for these new teammates to get acclimated. As you mentioned, there's Chasson over to Kinsey, one of those new faces. Kinsey draws a foul. See there, Terrence Kinsey catching Myers off balance. And checking in is Martin Peterka, number 13, as well as Pavel Pumperla for CEZ Nymburk. 2 more players who featured on that Czech Republic team that didn't have the best performance in his last window of the World Cup qualifiers, but they've already qualified for China. So a lot of these Czech players will be heading to the World Cup next summer. As the ball goes out of bounds, Dijon will maintain possession. Just 2 seconds on the shot clock, though. As you see there, Abdoulaye Loum, number 21, also just checked in. Olsen finds Emigano. Nice split, loses the ball, gets it up, and then the tip is good. What hustle by Loum. So tough 2 points to come by that time for Dijon. They get it done. Pumperla over to Cozy. Cozy, nice little jab step. Mid-range shot knocked down. And that's the way to make an impression on your new fans. Cozy scoring on his first touch. And Chasson, oh, nice little lefty move from him. The below the rim windmill. And Chasson now with 4 points. We mentioned again he had his best game, 14 points, 8 rebounds against this Czech side. A nice pump fake from right, in and out, step back. Can't connect on the 3. The battle for the rebound goes over to Loum. And another foul on the perimeter. Oh no, it's going to be an offensive foul. Legal screen set by Loum, trying to create separation for the guard. As we see here, Cozy's little fadeaway. Not an easy shot. And then Chasson on the other end with his response. So Dijon with 5 team fouls, but that last 2 foul won't count towards free throws as Cozy commits a foul. We missed the action there on the replay, but seems like Holston got a steal. And then immediately drew the foul. So Holston making a play there in the backcourt. So it goes 1-2 at the free throw line. Dijon still up 2 as we near the 1 minute mark of the opening quarter. And Wright managed to catch the ball. And another, here's a steal. Terrence Kinsey. Holston gets it over to Leloup. Spot up 3, wide open, connects. Nothing but the bottom of the net, and leads to a timeout by CEZ Nymburk as Dijon gets out to a 5-point lead. And now that's going to be 8 points for Leloup 2 threes here in the first quarter for the French wing. So we hear now Coach Emile in the huddle. As you see the three-point shooting, both of Dijon's threes coming courtesy Lelou. Lelou, meanwhile, Nymburk still just 1 of 7 from beyond the arc.
I don't know where you are. Second big man who say here, I don't know, you all the time chase these guys, I don't know what you get this guy late.
And you see the rebounding numbers. These are going to be very interesting because Nymburk comes into this game as one of the higher ranking rebounding teams, second actually, at 42 rebounds per game. Meanwhile, Dijon comes in 30th at just 30 rebounds per game. So significant advantage on the boards for Nymburk, but so far we haven't seen that much of it. It's actually Dijon with the 8 rebounds to 7 advantage. Dijon also the advantage of the points in the paint. As we take a look at the replay, that buzzer beater, shot clock buzzer beater from Alex Davis. But it's Dijon getting all the points off turnovers, second chance points here so far. There have been 9 lead changes already, so we knew these two teams at the bottom of Group C, neither one wants to stay at the bottom. And as they're matched up with each other pretty evenly. Under a minute to go here in the first. Looking for Wright. Feeds to Myers inside. Sees a lot of bodies, can't get a shot off. It was altered there by Kinsey and Loom. 12-second differential on the shot clock. So Holston look to dribble the ball down. Gets the screen. Lelou, nice hesitation. Some contact, no foul called. Plenty of time here for Nymburk. Looking to push Covey right at the basket, and he banks it in. Nice finish there from the guard. Meanwhile, still some time for Dijon. Kinsey, the long three. And it's going to be air ball and out of bounds. So at the end of the first quarter, the road team from France, JDA Dijon, up 20-17 on the Czech side, CEZ Nymburk. You see Laurent Leniam not happy with the lack of a foul call there at the end, but if you look at the stats, Nymburk 7 of 8 from 2, just struggling from beyond the arc. Meanwhile, Dijon a little bit more balanced. 6 two-point field goals, 2 threes. Also able to get to the free throw line. Nymburk no free throws yet. So we'll take a look at some of the highlights of that first quarter. A quarter that featured it's just been even so far. Neither team able to really establish any kind of rhythm offensively. It's been up and down overall at the moment. Dijon shooting 44%, Nymburk 39% overall. Oh, sorry, Nymburk's actually at 53%, Dijon at 47%. So Wojciech Herban just 1 of 3 so far. Jaromir Boacek also 1 of 3. So they've been letting other guys get involved. Meanwhile, for Dijon, Lelou already 3 of 5. Ryan Pearson 0 for 3. So they'll look to get him going. And then Obi Emegano with his 5 points. So Lelou and Emegano doing a lot of damage for Dijon and helping them establish here a 3-point lead here on the road. But again, that was just the first quarter. These teams have been away from VCL action for a few weeks now. Last game taking place on November 21st. That was game day 7. So this is good for a lot of these teams to get back into the European competitions. Nymburk's lost 3 of the last 5 games against French teams in VCO competition. And that's obviously including that first game of game day 1 as Brace Wright knocks down a 3 on the first possession, ties this one up at 20. So Bracy Wright coming out very aggressive as usual, as expected. Wright, who averages 11.2 points per game, only shooting 11% from 3, so good sight from him. Knocked down the 3. Meanwhile, Kinsey on the other end can't finish, but the tip in from Chasson, who once again is making a very positive impact off the bench for Dijon. So it seems like the last basket from Wright was counted as a 2. So this one is definitely a 2, but it's a nice 2 with the left hand from Wright. Able to get all the way to the basket. And consecutive field goals now for Bracy Wright in the second quarter. Meanwhile, Kinsey over to Loom. Holston draws the held defender, kicks it back out to Loom. He knocks down the 3. The 6'10" big man showcasing the outside touch. And it's another bench basket for Dijon. Cozy, he'll take a 3. In and out for him. Good hustle from Myers to get the offensive rebound. And they reset. Wright goes right back inside to Myers. Double team comes. Good defense. They get a steal. So very productive double team that time with Loom. Getting his long arms into the passing lane. Meanwhile, Holston will pull back between the legs. Oh, the double is split. And Holston finds Chasson, who is now a perfect 4 for 4 from the field. 8 points for him. Better teamwork by Holston as well. Meanwhile, flying in for the rebound, Boacek keeps it alive, gets the ball back. Finds Wright. He can't knock down the shot, and right there for the rebound again, Chasson, who's been everywhere here in his 7 minutes of action. Gets the ball back now, half spin. Couldn't quite create separation. Good defense there from Peterka. Holston, meanwhile, and they're going to call a hold out on Cozy, his second foul. So the screen from Chasson led to the foul. You see here, Wright gets all the way, shows the ball with the right, finishes with the left. And Holston looking to go over the screen from Chasson. Dijon able to draw another foul. They run the same play. Chasson finally misses one. Lawrence the rebound, quick outlet to Wright. And once again, he gets below the defense. Oh, a lot of contact, no foul called. Loom pushing the fast break. And Leloup pulls it back out, but finds Chasson on the block. Has a slight mismatch with Boacek, who is a strong guard. And it's a hook shot drops for Chasson. And he's now in double figures off the bench. You can see he's exhausted, but still putting in the work. Lawrence, tough lefty shot, no good. Rebound, Martin Krish, who's just checked in. Benda hit one from there earlier, hits another one. And Benda, who just came back into the game, another field goal, 6 points for him now. 3 of 3 shooting, also has 4 rebounds. So Benda making a much healthier contribution than he has in recent games. Here's Kinsey. Tries to bank it, can't quite get it. Loom offensive rebound. They kick it back out. Kinsey for 3. Again missing. Loom, another offensive rebound and draws a foul. So Abdoulaye Loom, who's a lot to handle there inside on the block, able to create more opportunities for Dijon as we see this offensive rebound, kick out, and mid-range shot from Benda. As a number of new players come into the game, Kinsey heads back to the bench. Pearson back into the game alongside Julien. Here's Julien, skips it over Leloup. Gets by the initial defender, and they're going to call an unsportsmanlike foul on Benda. So let's see, Lulu drives. And it was a bit of a hip check from Benda. I think they might go check out the monitor to see whether or not this warrants the unsportsmanlike foul tag. So it's probably going to be, so there's a slap. That's a very tough call on Benda if they decide that it is unsportsmanlike. Unless they give it to Boachik for the hack on the arm. So we see again here, Lelu gets by his man. Foul occurs right there on the arm, slap on the arm. They might call that the unsportsmanlike, honestly. So the referees will announce the decision here. So it is going to be an unsportsmanlike on Boachik, who I guess they judged just swung his arm down a little bit too hard. So Lelu at the free throw line, they'll get 2 shots and the ball back. And a chance for Dijon to really build some momentum. Obviously, these unsportsmanlike fouls create extra points per possession, potentially. Now, all of a sudden, both Lelu and Chasson in double digits, 10 points each, as Boachik heads to the bench. And it's Pavel Pumperla replacing him. Here's Holston finding Pearson. And soft touch from Ryan Pearson. It's a 4-point possession for Dijon. And they're now up 10, just like that. Herban to Benda. Gets it again. Another 2-pointer for Benda, who's been incredibly efficient around that mid-range foul line area. He's got 8. Lead the way for Nymburk. Julien will take his own mid-range shot, contested, and again another offensive rebound collected by Loom, who wanted the foul call, didn't get it. David Holston talking to Loom. So Loom claiming he gets fouled here. You see a lot of hands. The possession will stay with Dijon. And Loom just really chasing the ball. Oh, there. Herban did kind of get away with one. There's Pearson again, trying to find room. And Herban unable to get the steal with 1 second on the shot clock. So not much time here for Dijon to get a shot off. Referees definitely letting them play. And the fake pass, Loom gets it. Wow, very unorthodox. Holston, the ball came out of his hand. He grabbed it back and then found Loom for the little jump hook at the buzzer. Meanwhile, on the other end, Davis draws a foul and will likely head to the free throw line. Lost his footing on the way up. You see here Julien coming to help. Davis anticipating the foul, so it's actually going to be on the floor, no free throws. Like I said, Julien gets called for that foul, number 83. Oh, nice play to free up Herban. Drives. Oh, swatted away from Loom. And Dijon had a chance to run. But what a block from Abdoulaye Loom, who's been an animal since coming back into the game. Here he is on the other end, spins, and of course he finishes it on both ends of the floor, coast to coast. Abdoulaye Loom, just one of another difference maker here for Dijon this first half. Check it out here. Give me that. Not in my house, off the backboard. And instead of talking trash, just runs back on the other end, swats it off the glass, then gets the 2 points underneath. One more time. An aggressive long arm block there from Loom, who all of a sudden has 9 points and 6 rebounds in just 8 minutes. So now both Loom and Chasson giving his team 19 points off the bench. Meanwhile, David Holston, just 1 point, but has 5 assists off the bench. So some serious production there from your bench players if you're Dijon. You see the rebounding numbers, +4 for Dijon. And that must have been a point of emphasis. Despite Nymburk being the just the better rebounding team coming in, Dijon's done a better job of crashing the glass. You see there the fake pass almost by accident. Froze the defense just enough to find Loom. So Dijon up 12, 4:20 to go here in the second quarter of this Group C matchup. Elsewhere in Group C, Ike with a 29-15 lead over Jerusalem in the first quarter on the road. So Ike coming out of the gates firing there in Israel. Meanwhile, Herban here pulls up for 2, knocks it down, contested, but a big shot for him. Herban now with his second field goal. And let's see if the defensive intensity picks up for these last few minutes of the second quarter. Nymburk goes to a zone 2-3 defensive look. The movement leads to Julien open 3, and he busts through that zone. Simple passes leads to the open 3. And Julien, 33% three-point shooter coming in, knocks it down. Meanwhile, Alex Davis responding with a 3 of his own. So cuts it back down to 10. Alex Davis playing the middleman defensively of that zone as Herban gets a steal strip. It's going to be a jump ball. So Herban acted defensively, was in the top 10 in steals at a few points of the season. Still 1+ steal per game, as we see here. Coming off the curl, 1 dribble pull-up from Herban. And Julien, another 3, this time too long, and Loom unable to save it without putting his foot out of bounds. So the zone works on that possession for Nymburk. Holston checks out. Alex Davis now with 2 outside shots. Meanwhile, what a play, executed to perfection. And Pampala gets the wide open layup. That leads to a timeout as Nymburk sets a couple of back screens and frees up Pampala. As you see it here, Lelou unable to stay with his man. And Alex Davis with a nice pass. You don't always see bigs able to deliver that pass on target. Meanwhile, it's a festive season of basketball. You know, we have so much basketball to present to you over the next couple of weeks. You see the numbers. Dijon knocking down 4 3-pointers, Nymburk 2. Dijon doing a great job of taking care of the ball. Just 2 turnovers, Nymburk with 4. So Laurent Leniam, a coach who's known for his intensity, just 41 years of age, played for Toulon in France, and now leading this Dijon team. They've got an 8-point lead here on the road in Nymburk in the Czech Republic. And Gavin Ware with his 2 fouls back in the game. Hasn't been an impact player in this one. Meanwhile, sloppy pass from Julien. Here comes Herban in transition. Oh, missed layup from Pumperla. Nymburk fortunate to keep the ball, but Pumperla's got to finish that one right at the rim. Says he got fouled. See here, Lawrence just getting his hands up in the passing lane. Herban, the unselfish pass, but Pumperla missing the layup. Here comes Kinsey back in. Shooting numbers from 2, pretty solid for both teams. Herban will take a 3 this time, though no good. Davis keeps it alive. Good hustle, but ball back over to Dijon. Nymburk still yet to shoot a free throw in this game. Dijon only committing 1 foul in this quarter as Pearson. Oh, what a finish! Ryan Pearson, athletic. Meanwhile, Lawrence coming back the other way, quick in transition. Benda lays it in. So scoring off a made basket, pushing it off the made basket is Lawrence. Saw that the defense wasn't in position to get back, took advantage. And every time Dijon wants to create room, and again, Gavin Ware creates room for one more possession, getting it back out to 10, but Nymburk has been able to respond. So they're down 10. I want to go into the halftime locker room down single digits. Herban another 3, such quick release, but maybe a little too quick. Another offensive rebound. Herban finishes. Pounds his fists. Herban unable to get hot from 3, just 1 of 5 so far from beyond the arc. Meanwhile, Emagano draws a foul and he'll head to the free throw line. Nymburk in the penalty. And it looks like Herban might be bleeding actually. No foul called on the last play. Gavin Ware, that's why he's this team's leading scorer. Meanwhile, Gino Lawrence has been one of the best assist men in the Basketball Champions League history, actually, showcasing why at that time. Gino Lawrence, 6.7 assists. And the free throws both go down for Emagano. Nice pass, and oh, Davis went up for the jam, but Gavin Ware fouls him, and he'll make him earn it from the free throw line. You see here, nice pocket pass, and Davis going for the highlight. Ware more willing to pick up his 3rd personal foul than end up on a poster. So he'll have to head back to the bench. So if you're Laurent Lenyam, the fact that you can build a 10-point lead without the leading scorer making that much of an impact is quite impressive. Davis no good on that first free throw. Knocks down the second. Here's Chasson. Tough pass. Pearson able to handle it. And then finishes strong at the basket and 1 opportunity. Some good interior passing there from Dijon. And a strong finish from Ryan Pearson, who's really played a good game here. This is his 2nd tough finish just here in the last few minutes. He's now got 6 points after a slow start, was 0 of 3, connecting on his last 3 field goals. Missing the free throw, though. Lawrence kicked ball there on Julien. So both teams shooting very well from the field, over 50%. As Holston will check into the game for the last defensive and offensive possession. About a 9-second differential between shot clock and game clock. So if Dijon gets a stop here, or if they let Nymburk score, unless that happens. Herbon quick on the putback, no good. Battle for the rebound. Goes over to Dijon with 4 seconds, and they'll call a timeout, I assume, to draw up a last play. So timeout with 4 seconds left here in the first half. Dijon up 11. And the ball, I believe, will have to be inbounded from the opposite baseline. Does not get advanced. So we'll see what Lunyam can draw up here for the final shot. So we'll see if they can execute. Julien gets it. 3, 2. Last shot from Holston. Buzzer sounds, and he knocks it down. The big three at the buzzer. David Holston. They left him open. He made him pay for it. What a shot from the little man. We'll take another look here. Julien finding Holston, showing off the range. Nothing but the bottom of the net. And that caps off a great first half display from Dijon as they go into the locker room up 51-37. So Dijon now with a chance potentially to pick up their second win. And both of those wins would come over CEZ Nymburk. You see the stats. It's been, that's the 5th three-pointer for Dijon. They've also taken 7 more free throws, making 5 more. Both teams shooting well from inside the arc. Rebounding numbers pretty even, assist numbers even. Overall, the two teams have played relatively well. Just Nymburk unable to knock down the outside shot or get to the free throw line. And that's the difference here. +9 from 3-pointers, +5 from free throw, and it's +14 overall. Benda, 10 points, 5 rebounds to lead the way for Nymburk. Meanwhile, Chasson and Lulu with 10 points apiece. And you see Loom there with 9. So, of course, 2 of those players are off the bench for Dijon. As we take a look at some of the highlights of the first 20 minutes of action. Number of guys playing well at the moment. Gino Lawrence, 6 assists. Obviously got that nice, strong layup. Peter Benda, 10 points, 5 rebounds. Meanwhile, for Dijon, Lelou got things going, 10 points. Then Chasson off the bench with 10 points as well. Ryan Pearson, 6 points. Dule Loom, 9 points, 6 rebounds, and an incredible block that we saw. And then David Holston, the big 3-pointer, just 1 field goal, but does have 5 assists. So everyone playing well, it seems, for Dijon. They're shooting 57% overall from the field here on the road. And again, this is a team that's playing very well in the French league and just needed some time to get that rhythm going here in Europe, clearly. So Dijon right now in the Pro A standings, currently 8-4, behind Asvel at 10-2, and they've come off a victory against Levallois, and before that Limoges. So make sure you stay tuned for the second half action. Nymburk currently down 14. Will be looking to come back into this game. You'd expect Nymburk, who don't generate that many points from the paint. They came into the game having scored the fewest points per game in the paint, just around 25. And so far tonight, it's been a similar story. They've had to really struggle for points. Only 16 points in the paint, so at least they're on the way to surpassing their current average. However, they came into this game shooting 39% overall from the field, which is pretty much the worst in the Basketball Champions League. So those are some stats to think about. At the moment today, they are scoring, they were close to 50%. Now they're about 49%. So they're doing things better than they have earlier on in the season, yet they're still down 14 against a team that's at the bottom of their group. So they'll look to turn things around. They've given a couple extra guys some minutes. We've seen Alex Davis play 11+ minutes. Glenn Cozy getting his 5 minutes of action. So he did have 2 fouls. Mike Myers, 7 minutes. He was quiet. 2 points to have 3 rebounds. Meanwhile, the new faces for Dijon. Terrence Kinsey, no points yet. And the other Group C action, Jerusalem has responded to the early run from Ike, and they're now just down 31-32. So of course, a lot of people keeping their eyes on that game to see who will be at the top of Group C. And this group featuring these 2 teams, James Felding already with 10 points in that one. Meanwhile, the other Group C games tipping off later today. Antwerp against Let Kabylis, and then finally, last 2 will be Bros Bamberg and Fuenlabrada. So we'll be back shortly for the second half. Stay tuned.
patří milovickým basketbalistům, kteří nám ukázali skutečný trénink a přejeme, ať se i nadále ve svých hodnostech zlepšují a je to baví. Děkujeme.
So we're just getting ready now for the second half action here at the Sportovny Hall, I should say, in Nymburk, Czech Republic. Dijon enjoying a 14-point cushion at the half over the Czech team. Doesn't seem like Dijon has that look that they're going to take their foot off the gas or their feet off the gas at all.
Create a different tempo so we steal some ball, we touch some, we can develop some. We need to change it. We cannot continue to play like this. Okay? If we decide to go to switching, we switch aggressive and we fire on the mismatch down low. If we decide to go later, okay? Only the 2-point guard. Okay? Either 1, 2, 3. Let's go on everybody. On everybody's shoulder.
So Peter Benda, who probably had his best half of basketball, 10 points, 5 rebounds, came in averaging just 6 points per game on 30% shooting, so good half for him. Just about ready for the second half action. Nymburk will get the first possession and a chance to cut back into this deficit. Gino Lawrence at the point gets by Holston and almost throws the ball away. So a couple changes from the original starting five. Bracy Wright in the game as well as Holston. So no Julien. Then Boacik also coming off the bench. And here's a nice feed, but Lawrence can't quite get it on target to Krish. And then that means Alex Davis also coming off the bench. So a turnover on the opening possession. Rough one there for Nymburk. Looking to put the pressure on in the backcourt. Holston doesn't mind the pressure. Here is Holston, loses it, almost gets it back, and eventually it's going to be a jump ball, I think. So good hustle there from both sides, both players getting on the floor. And they're just going to wipe the floor to make sure no players get injured there on any wet spots. 5 seconds on the shot clock for Dijon. So Chasson also in the starting five. Basically both coaches rewarding the players who played well in that first half. You know, Holston has to go. Puts up another long three, and he knocked it down again. Can you believe this? That is the second long distance three from David Holston. And his range is just basically in Germany from this point. I know we're in the Czech Republic, but David Holston launching bombs from beyond the arc. Let me show you that foul, little in and out step, Euro step there from Herban, but I just want to see that David Holston three again as Herban connects on the first free throw. So both threes for David Holston have been with the clock winding down. And Herban goes 2 for 2. As that 17-point lead just a few seconds ago was the largest of the game for Dijon. Meanwhile, Nymburk now in a zone again. It works somewhat for them in that first half. Leaves Emagana open. He's short on his three-pointer. The box out leads to the rebound. There's Gino Lawrence again. Herban, nice extra pass, Krish. And they call a foul on Lelou. So well executed transition offense as Lelou, looking to avoid Krish, ends up committing the foul. Krish no good on the first free throw. And he goes 0 for 2, empty trip to the free throw line, which Nymburk cannot really afford. Oh, nice steal from Gino, and Lawrence takes it all the way for the easy deuce. And every time they need some momentum, Gino Lawrence seems to provide it. Now the crowd again, looking to get back into this one. Here's Pearson. He'll take a three off just to the left. Long rebound goes out of bounds, and now another chance for Nymburk to just cut into this lead little by little. You see there, here's a lazy pass from Pearson. Lawrence anticipates, gets into the passing lane, uncontested too. And the St. John's product takes it all the way to the cup yet again. Back-to-back lay-ins for him. 6 points in the game. And the 2008 graduate of the St. John's Red Storm, putting the team on his shoulders now, looking to mount a comeback. Here's Emigano. He gets inside, takes the bump, and almost got the and one. Foul's going to go on Benda. You see there the ball handling wizardry from Lawrence, able to freeze Holston, make him think he's going off the screen. On the other end, and Emigano making the most of the hang time. And 3 fouls now on Benda. Good defense there from Dijon. Right, can't get quite around Pearson. And they would have counted that runner off the glass, but he'll head to the free throw line for 2 nonetheless. You see that Pearson trying to slide his feet and stay in front. But that left hand is the reason foul's called. So more free throws so far here in the second half. Both teams picking up the defensive intensity. Subsequently, the fouls. And Wright now with 6 points. Also gives a chance for Nymburk to set up their press. Davis at the top of it. Kind of like a 1-2-2 press. Holston manages to dribble out of the trap. Again, keeping his ball handling alive. And Pearson pulls up at the free throw line. Nice looking shot there from Pearson. And he's had a very nice game. He's got 8 points. Herbon catch and shoot 3. Whoa! You cannot give him any space. He doesn't need much. Gets the 3 off, and he cuts it down to 10. Oh, Holston almost threw it away. Nice find. Chasson the lay-in. Fortunate press break. Dijon turning the near turnover into an uncontested layup. Meanwhile, oh, here comes Pearson in the passing lane. Takes it away and throws down to easy 2. So Ryan Pearson making plays yet again. And he now joins 2 of his teammates in double digits with 10 points. Meanwhile, Wright has the answer on the mid-range pull-up. And just after I glorify the defense, now the offense is starting to pick up the last few possessions. Holston. Oh, the Hezi pulls up from the elbow, can't bank it in. Karish, big rebound. Nymburk have numbers. They find Herbon, the shooter, the corner, the 3! And that's gonna lead to a timeout. And you don't want that man to start heating up. He's got 15 points now, 3 3-pointers on the night. And the movement, Wojciech Herbon came into this game averaging 3 made threes per night, 16.7 points. He's starting to get close to his average. And it's back to a 9-point game. You see there Herban again, who came into this game with 21 made threes, which puts him in the top 5 alongside guys like Richard Lomas and Thomas Denikatidis. So Holston matching up against Cozy now as Lawrence heads to the bench for a rest. Chasson, good ball movement, but better deflection from right to force Dijon to use up a little bit more clock here on this possession. See if Holston puts up another one. He does. And it's another 3 for David Holston. And you can hear Ordan Amiel losing his mind there on the sideline as they leave Holston open. He's definitely feeling the touch. Holston now 3 of 3 from 3. Overall, Dijon 7 of 14 from beyond the arc. Cozy penetrates, can't finish. Holston the rebound. Finds Emigano, who gets inside, can't finish a tough shot. David Holston now with 10 points to go with his 6 assists. Meanwhile, Cozy can't get the 3, and we're gonna have a loose ball foul inside here. Now 4 players for Dijon in double figures, and then 2 more guys with 9 points. That's helped them get to 65 here already. They come into the game averaging just 71 points per game, one of the worst scoring teams out of the 32 in the Basketball Champions League. They came in ranked 31st, and all this with Gavin Ware only playing 7 minutes due to his 3 fouls. Here's Peterka. Right, looking to isolate on Julien. Fumbles it. Tough contested shot, but he still knocks it down. And that's what a scorer does. Able to get his shot off regardless of who's guarding him. The former Indiana Hoosier still getting it going. Loom, who was so instrumental to that first half success for Dijon, has come back in. Looking to set a screen here on Holston, who drives baseline. What a scoop shot from David Holston. Dijon always answers anytime Nymburk tries to make a run. Oh, the push off, that's gonna be an offensive foul. Easy call for the referee. As Wright looking to separate himself from Julien, using that shoulder. You know, on the last possession, you see the contested defense, and this time use that off arm. That was going to be a foul every time when you extend that forearm. There's Julien now. It's a screen from Chasson. Goes inside. Chasson gets to the left hand. Tough shot, no good. Davis the rebound. And Herban was thinking about the 3, lost it on his way up. And they're going to say the ball went off of Kinsey. Looked like Holston, sorry, looked like Herban might have lost it on his way up. So Ware comes back in. 2:44 left here in the third. Peterka in the corner. Boacik, the tough runner. No good as the shot clock expires, but Peterka gets the offensive board. Kinsey all over Herban. Herban still gets around and draws a foul. He'll get a chance here from the free throw line. Herban missing the free throw. Able to convert the second. A foul called, just the third one on Nymburk. You see here Pumperla reaching in. Holston line pass to Pearson, gets inside and one off the glass. Another strong finish from Pearson, who's had a number of tough ones. Meanwhile, take another look at it, takes the bump from Peterka. Gets back to the left hand despite jumping off the wrong foot. And Holston now with 7 assists to go with his 12 points. Holston, who finished, at the moment, he's ranked 3rd all time and made threes career-wise in an NCAA level Division I. So definitely prolific shooter and scorer at Chicago State. Meanwhile, Jaromir Boacik in and out, unlucky on the three. Cozy can't get the putback, another offensive rebound, and this time it falls for Peterka. And that's the kind of rebounding activity you want to see if you're Coach Amiel. This team having such a rebounding advantage coming in, +10 on average. Oh, nice lefty pass. Loom, the footwork, the finish. Another assist for Holston. Now Loom in double figures. At the moment, Nymburk +7 on the glass over Dijon. Peterka, that's Pumperla. And they're saying the ball went out of bounds. Well, the referees will discuss, and they're going to overturn the call, give it back to Dijon. So Terrence Kinsey's pleading paid off this time. Take another look here. Yeah, Pumperla definitely lost it himself. +13, the difference here for Dijon. Pearson for three, he's been feeling it. And the offensive rebound ends up in Pearson's hand after the tap out. Meanwhile, Holston has a big switched out on him. Gets by the, oh, swatted away by Davis. So couldn't create enough separation to get a shot off. Meanwhile, Davis, another block. He's played pretty well here tonight. 6 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. Now that block, 2 seconds on the shot clock for Dijon. And Pearson fades away. Pumperla a chance to run, but he pulls it back out. 7-second difference, shot clock to game clock. And Kinsey took a hard screen. Meanwhile, the putback finished there by Peterka. So game clock under 10. Julien on top of the key. Oh, spin cycle. Leaves his feet, finds Loom. And then the ball bounces around a little bit. And the buzzer expires. The horn expires, I should say, before any shot can go off. So at the end of 3, 71. Dijon still the lead over CEZ Nymburk, 71-60, plus 10, sorry, 71-61. So they just adjusted the score here at the end, but still 10-point lead for the road team. Dijon doing a great job shooting from inside and outside. Meanwhile, Nymburk a little bit more aggressive in that quarter. They outscored Dijon 23-20 there in the third. Did CEZ Nymburk. But it's got to be the defense if you're Nymburk. This is a Dijon team. They came in averaging only 71 points per game, and they've already put up 71 points here in the first 3 quarters. Meanwhile, Jaromir Boacik came in averaging 13 points per game, 6 rebounds so far, just 2 points on 1 of 5 shooting and 2 rebounds. He's been very, very, very quiet. Wojciech Herban definitely picked it up in that quarter. He's now got 16 points. Peter Benda with 10 points. Bracy Wright with 10 points. But for Dijon, it's much more balanced. They have they're led in scoring by both Holston and Pearson at 12. Chasson also at 12. Loom 11. Leloup with 10. So not only 5 players in double figures, but 3 of those players coming off the bench tonight. And overall, 35 points of the 71 from the bench. So again, that's an even lineup. They've also had a 13-2 advantage off points off turnovers. And 34 points in the paint. Meanwhile, Dijon has enjoyed the lead since 22-21, which was right at the beginning of that second quarter. So the fourth quarter now underway. Cozy running the point for Nymburk. That's Paterka looking for Boacik inside. Pumperle on the wing. Alex Davis in the corner for 3. Air ball. And here's Loom, the leak out. Oh, almost gets by the defender, but Cozy forces the turnover. Cozy and Paterka can't hit the 3. Julien comes away with the board. Smartly decides to slow it down. And wow, Pumperle putting the pressure on defensively here. Again, Julien on that French team that won their 2 World Cup qualifier games and qualified for the World Cup in China last week. Meanwhile, Pearson, they're going to call an offensive foul. Let's see what they call here. So the left arm pushes off. And it is an offensive foul on Pearson. So similar to that foul earlier on Bracy Wright. Maybe not as animated as Boacik, the catch and shoot. Oh, that looks good. Just a long 2 though for Boacik. His second field goal though. And he cuts the deficit to 9, so back to single digits. And Nymburk has a run. They're gonna make it now. As Cozy gets called for another foul on the perimeter. So Boacik, who probably wishes he would have taken another step back for that 3. Oh, the near turnover, and it's going to be a shot clock violation. So it is a turnover after all for Dijon, who've had a couple ugly possessions here at the start of the fourth. Another foul, this time on Lelou, who's been very quiet in the second half. Here's Cozy for three. And the Flint native can't knock down the open look. So we'll see a couple substitutions. And Magano comes back in. Another one of those players has been quiet in the second half. It's been other guys from Dijon picking up the slack. And that time, Paterka hits the jumper. So it's down to 7. And Dijon playing a little too comfortably here with the lead. They were up 17 at one point. They've enjoyed the lead for the entire second half. But if they're not careful, they'll evaporate as Ware finds Emagano. Emagano gets it back. He'll take a three in the corner. What a big shot for Dijon. And Emagano might have gotten away with a travel, but he's now got 12 points. And every time you look, it's a different Dijon player in double figures. That now makes 6. Meanwhile, Ware comes in for the big rebound. And you know that despite his 4 fouls, he wants to be in the game here down the stretch. There's Emagano turning the corner. Looking for Ware inside. Paterka pokes it away. 9 seconds on the shot clock left for Dijon. And there's a timeout on the floor. So 74-64. Nymburk still down 10. Nymburk comes into this game again, 2 wins and 5 losses. Currently 7th in Group C. Meanwhile, Dijon, 1 win, 6 losses, is at the bottom of Group C. So these two teams would be tied with a Chez defeat. You see there the 3-pointers by quarter. Consistency from Dijon. Meanwhile, Nymburk really dominating the glass in that 3rd quarter, but now Dijon able to respond here in the 4th. So Paterka, as that was the near travel that Emagano got away with, then lined up the 3 as the shot clock expired. It's one of those plays where you're the referee, kind of expecting another one to blow the whistle. Meanwhile, Terrence Kinsey, former South Carolina Gamecock, was a super high flyer in college. Also had a little career in the NBA, the Memphis Grizzlies, and the Cleveland Cavaliers before making his way around the European leagues. And there's Ware now, another mid-range jumper. And Ware just 2 shots so far, made both of them, which makes this double-digit lead that much more impressive for Dijon, considering their lack of scoring from the leading scorer. Boacek finds Herban. Another 3-pointer for Wojciech Herban. And they need to get this man the ball as many times as possible down the stretch. He's got 20 points on the night. We have him down for 19, actually. 4 3-pointers for Herban. And Ware inside, takes a little bump. Can't finish, stays with it. Again, can't finish. One of the foul call, no whistle. And now Nymburk can cut it down to 7 or 6. Mismatch on the perimeter. Someone's open, it's Benda on the baseline. No good on the long 2. Julien, the rebound. He'll walk it up the court, take up a little bit of clock. Kinsey, the screen with Ware. They got the mismatch inside. They don't recognize it. Julian takes a three. Pearson, another uncontested offensive rebound. Kinsey steps into a three. Not the best shot that time from Kinsey. He's still scoreless. Oh, nice defense, but they call a block. So Kinsey looking to step in and draw the charge. And Lawrence is ready to go into the Euro step. You see here, bang, bang play. Referee calls the block. And Lawrence was into his two-step motion, so he'll head to the free throw line. Connects on the first. So 2 free throws there for Gino Lawrence. And it's back down to 7. Here's Holston. Pick and pop with Ware. Too strong in the long two. Another opportunity for Nymburk to inch closer and closer. Oh, the nice feed to Benda, and he lays it in. That's going to be a timeout. It's a 5-point game. Here comes Nymburk. You see that a fortunate assist the last couple times. And again, Wojciech Herban, sign him up for the three-point contest.
Next play. Hey, you can dunk. Dunk. Okay, Dave. Good swing.
So you see the three-point numbers. Nymburk, 5 of 19, 4 of those threes coming from Wojciech Herban. And again, this is a Nymburk team that's used to winning. They're 11-0 in the Czech Republic League. You see there's a +5 rebounding advantage. And they're winning most of those games in convincing fashion. They won just a few nights ago by 20. Last few games have been won by 45, 30 plus. Their closest game in the league, an 8-point victory over Svitavi. Meanwhile, in the BCL, they started the season off with 3 losses, including a tough double overtime loss at home against Ike. And they lost their last game against Bros Bamberg, but they also do have 2 wins and 1-point victory over Fuenlabrada and an 8-point win over Antwerp. So looking here to bounce back. You see that the foul on Wojciech Herban going for the steal. It's the second team foul on Nymburk. Meanwhile, Holston, another long 3. Oh my goodness, he's on fire tonight. 4 for 4 from beyond the arc for David Holston. And again, one of the best shooters all time in college basketball. You see there exactly why. Might just be 5'8", but the heart of a champion. And also the shooting touch just helps. 15 points, 8 assists now for Holston. And you got to feel comfortable with the ball down in his hands down the stretch. Meanwhile, here's Lelou. He'll take another 3. This time, no good. Paterka the rebound. Lawrence pushing it. And they leave Benda open. Paterka throws it away, but they call a foul on Lelou. And that's going to be the 5th personal foul on Lelou, who had a great first quarter, scoring pretty much all his 10 points in that first quarter. You see that 3-pointer off the double crossover from Holston. Meanwhile, Lulu gets called there for the reach in. And it's a long two. So Bracy Wright comes into the game and gets another bucket. Oh, nice hands there from Davis. And still plenty of time if you're Nymburk. It's a 2-possession game with over 3 minutes to go here in the fourth quarter. And the fans are into it. Shot clock under 5. Julien gets it to Ware, who doesn't recognize it. Holston puts it up, and it would have counted. He banked it in again. Holston just hasn't missed from 3, but it came after the buzzer. So no basket. Could have been the dagger. Loose ball foul call there on Benda. So Pearson will head back to the bench. Pearson was taking 12 shots in this game, 6 of 12 overall. They leave Chasson open, who thought about the 3. Gets it back to Holston. This one's a tough one. No, oh my, forget it. David Holston is the player of the night. 5 for 5 from beyond the arc for the point guard. And they get a steal. And there's still time for Nymburk, but David Holston, ladies and gentlemen, taking over this game just with the 3-point shooting off the dribble. You know he wants to take another one. Switches with Davis, puts him on his feet. Step back 2. Incredible, incredible David Holston putting this team on his back and looking to carry them to victory as he forces a timeout for Nymburk. Check it again here. Gets a little bit of room off the screen. Just effortless from long range here. Drops Davis temporarily, then the step back. Very Luka Doncic-esque. He's 7 of 9 overall, 5 for 5 from 3 for 20 points. He's got 8 assists, no turnovers. David Holston coming off the bench. You see the shooting, 3-point shooting. Nymburk just struggling, 25% overall. Meanwhile, Dijon right at that 50% mark. Both teams taking care of the ball here tonight, but it's been a big game for David Holston, who coming off a 3-point, 1 of 8 performance in his last game against Red Kabylis, yet he also missed the last 2 games against Antwerp and Jerusalem. Obviously 2 losses for Dijon, so they're glad to have him back in the lineup. Came into this one shooting 35% from beyond the arc, so you know that 5 for 5 performance is going to help out a few things there. So Nymburk has the ball, down 11, under 2 minutes to go. They got to score quickly. They find Herbon. Lawrence was open in the corner, but they're going to send Herbon to the free throw line. He's 3 of 4 from there so far. Herbon was just a 77% free throw shooter. Knocks down the first. He goes 2 for 2. It's another 20-point game for Herban. That's now his 4th 20-point game out of 8 game days. So not a bad return on investment there for Herban. Meanwhile, Ware, again too strong on the free throw jumper. Boacik. Herban, extra pass to right. Easy open 3, no good. Ware, great inside position for the board. Gets it over Julien. And eventually Holston coming away with it. And we'll see if Nymburk chooses to foul. Too late now, they gotta play it out. Holston. And eventually, Herban does commit the foul, just a 3rd team foul on CEZ Nymburk. Also, we haven't seen any Thomas Vjorl, so I wonder what that Glenn Cozy insertion into the lineup does for him the rest of the way. Vjorl, another guard, plays for the Czech Republic. Meanwhile, here's Ware. Julien for 3. Oh, that might just be the dagger. Axel Julien with another long 3 off the assist from Ware. That's his 2nd 3-pointer of the night. The 11th 3. Oh, the quick response. Herban might have spoken too soon. We'll see if Nymburk can force a turnover here. From here on out, Dijon will be in the bonus, as that was the 4th team foul committed by Nymburk. So they'll play to the very end. Herban now with 24 points. Holston just dribbling out the clock. And the ball was kicked, it seemed, which will put the shot clock back to 14. So 87-78, just about 20 seconds left here in the game. Looks like Nymburk is content to just play it out, won't foul, as Ware gets inside for another 2. And it's going to be Dijon's 2nd win of the Basketball Champions League season, and also their 2nd win over Nymburk. Kinsey gets the final rebound, and as the final buzzer sounds, 89-78. Dijon victorious on the road over CEZ Nymburk here in the Czech Republic. It's another win for, well, I should say the 2nd win for Laurent Lugnam and his French side. Meanwhile, Oren Amiel, they will drop down to 2-6. So these 2 teams will share that 2-6 record heading into game day 9. It's a big road win. It's the first road win here in Europe for Dijon. So that's got to feel good. Meanwhile, CEZ Nymburk will need to regroup yet again as they lose this one at home. So great performance here from this Dijon side. Had a number of players step up. Meanwhile, the Czech fans still showing their appreciation for their players despite the loss. Again, it's an 89-78 game. It was a game controlled pretty much the entire, well, definitely this whole second half, but just around the 8-minute mark of the second quarter is when Dijon made their first run. You see there the stats for the game. Despite Nymburk out-rebounding them, Dijon still able to come out on top. The 3-pointers were very, very friendly to Dijon. They shoot 50% overall. You see 24 points from Herban, not enough. Holston, 20 points, 8 assists, definitely the player of the game for Dijon, including a number of big, big threes there down the stretch. Meanwhile, Pearson with 12, Emagano with 12, as they had 6 players in double figures, did Dijon. Just 3 in double figures for Nymburk. So we'll take a look at some of the highlights, especially here the second half. As I mentioned, Nymburk had the early lead. Actually, no, Nymburk was down 20-17 after the first quarter, but then were able to go up 21-20. And after that point, they did not even sniff the lead, only getting the deficit down to 5 at one point before the game was broken out again by Dijon. 15 points off turnovers to just 4 for Nymburk. 43 points off the bench, 43 of the 89, which is a great percentage, almost 50% of their points coming from bench players. So getting contributions from all over the place. They took care of the ball, only had 8 turnovers. Of course, shooting 50% from 3 is always going to be helpful. Meanwhile, whereas Alexandre Chasson and Jérémy Leloup got things going in the first half with their efforts. Second half was more Ryan Pearson and definitely David Holston really coming up big. And just for good measure, Gavin Ware having 6 points here in the fourth quarter. Meanwhile, despite the 24 points from Wojciech Herban on his 7-14 shooting, despite the 9 assists from Gino Lawrence, who once again has been one of the consistent high assist number players here in the BCL these last few seasons. And despite shooting, 48% overall from the field, which is better than the 39% they came in averaging, still was not quite enough. So again, elsewhere in Group C, we've Ike has a 2-point lead over Jerusalem. So if you are able to go tune into that one, I would check that out. Meanwhile, Antwerp up 16-7 over Lietkabelis. In Group D, Ostend up 88-84 with that game just going to the final buzzer. So a big win there for Ostend over Prometheus Petras. And Midi Bayreuth winning 90-74 on the road in Istanbul over Beşiktaş. So the BCL's back in action. Game day 8 has been very exciting thus far. You see the updated standings with Dijon climbing to that 7th spot now with their 2 wins over Nymburk. Meanwhile, that will do it from us here at FIBA. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you check out all the up-to-the-minute stats and news on the Basketball Champions League app. My name's Josh Davis. Thank you once again for watching. Take care. Good night.